it's Diane Vives here, Vives Training Systems, here for Austin Fit Magazine. We're at Body by Frame this month, and we've got Stephanie helping us out with the demo stuff. And the focus of the movements this time is actually a core movement for each one of the pillars of human movement, and then we're going to do a tweak up and tweak down. We know that everybody begins at different stages. You may be an experienced person, or you might be a beginner starting a new program. We want to give you options for both. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the deadlift. The most important part of this is the hip hinge on this one, and you'll see that Stephanie's using a kettlebell. She's got it between her feet, not out in front. She's got a nice neutral position here in the spine. She's addressed the kettlebell, really good grip. And she's actually engaging the lats right in here to make a strong connection between the shoulders into the trunk and the torso. So as she brings that up, pushing through, she's going to keep it close to her body. And then as she brings it down, again, that kettlebell goes towards her heels. She really focuses on that hip hinge going back, nice neutral spine. That's the big difference with the deadlift, is you're getting just a little bit of knee bend. You're keeping the shins vertical, and those hips got to go back. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to tweak that down a little bit. So if you're having a problem with the hip hinge, using a dowel rod is a great way to get 3 points of contact. You're going to use a contact at behind the head, right here at the upper back, right here at the tailbone, and with body weight, we're going to actually practice that hip hinge. Good, you can see how she reaches back with her hips, comes back up into full extension, and she's practicing pushing that back, keeping all 3 points of contact. Perfect, just like that. So now for you guys that were doing it on 2 legs, need a little bit more of a challenge, we're gonna go to a single leg. Should look just like the double leg. She's really gonna extend that leg back, coming up nice and tall. Make sure you really keep that back leg nice and straight. Getting a nice hip hinge. Good form, good alignment all the way through. It should look like there's a steel rod from this shoulder all the way back to that back heel. Nice, just like that. All right, now we're gonna move on to the push-up. So for the push-up, there's so many different things that are the little tweaks. With the deadlift and the push-up, these are core movements that we wanna be able to build on. And so she's got about 45 degrees of the upper arm away from her side. She's got feet at about hip width apart. And she's making sure that she's pulling her toes towards her shin to get a really good, what we call positive tension between her shoulders, her torso, and her feet. That's going to help you really keep the core engaged all the way through the movement. So as she pushes up, nice and neutral. Again, she's got just that 45 degrees. Nice alignment all the way through, and relax right there. Okay? So that's what we want to look for in the push-up. Now, if we need to tweak that down to make it easier, the best way to do that is to elevate. Whether you're using the box, the back of the couch, we can use a squat rack. You're shortening the lever arm, plus more body weight is shifted towards the feet. And so now it's going to help you, and it's actually going to assist your movement. Same thing applies. Nice 45-degree angle at the upper arm. Her chest is going right down to the elevated step or the bar, if that's what you're using. Just like that, okay? So now, what we're gonna focus on is if we're trying to make it harder. So we're gonna actually use a band. This is a core band that has nice foam pieces on it. She's crossing them to make them a little bit shorter. She's gonna keep that nice alignment. The band is gonna have the most tension at the top, so it really pulls you eccentrically down, and it releases the tension at the bottom when you're most vulnerable for shoulder injuries or really overloading. Good, just like that. And relax, those are tough. So now what we're gonna do is the next movement is focusing on rotation. So the core movement is gonna be a figure 8 where we actually go through chops on both sides of the body. Nice athletic position, she's coming across. You can see she releases that back heel on the back leg, or what we call the trail foot, to make sure that the hips come around and keeps that low back safe. As long as the hips are turning, it's gonna basically protect that low back. Okay, and so from there, that's gonna be a great core movement, a lot of rotation. We're gonna go into a half kneeling position here. That really locks in her lower body. We've gotta have a lot of static motor control. Good posture all the way through, nice and straight. But now she's gonna focus on that same figure 8 movement a little bit shorter. We're going to keep that ball a little bit more in front of the body to really tweak down the intensity and focus on that rotary stability and static motor control of the lower body, taking the lower body out of it. Okay? So now we're tweaking it up. We're going to actually add the skaters. So we've got to put a nice low-level lateral plyometric. There you go. Awesome. You can see how she's driving right through it, right to her base of support, keeping that figure 8 motion all the way through. Good job. Now for the last one, we've got locomotion. And so what we want to do, this is called a fast leg drill. We're focusing on the hip separation so that one leg becomes flexed and the other leg stays extended. Really great for that straight leg stance. And we're going to let Stephanie move right through that. Just a little bit of a march. You can see that the leg closest to you is basically just going to drag, and every time she steps, it's going to be right beside the hurdle and get a nice knee drive on the opposite side. Okay? We can tweak this down a little bit to where we're focusing on freezing that frame and really balancing. And then step. Now we just come to the next one, freeze and balance. Step. So we're focusing on that single leg balance that we really need to make sure is solid all the way through. All right, so now for the tweak up, what she's going to show you is she's really going to blast through it, but she's never going to lose form. Nice and tight, she's going to get a nice snap every time that she brings that leg up and drives that knee. Good job. So those are the 4 movements, the core movements, and then we got your tweak up and tweak down. And so hopefully that's going to help you guys be successful for the new year. See you next month.